Good evening, everyone. I have no idea how this works, but this is my first time expressing something I've been feeling, and that too online. As of right now, I don't have anyone else I can talk to. I feel burdened, so I'll just put it out here, and I request you all to please be nice, as right now I could use some support. First, let me introduce myself. I'm Emma. I'm 27 years of age, living in a family which is full of idiots. Let me tell you all what happened. So 2 days back, my sister-in-law asked me to move out of my house and to leave my husband because I refused to fund his new business. I mean, why should I? I've been earning well, and instead of saving, I do not think that I want to give him any amount of money for his new business. Now, I know all of you are confused, so let me tell you exactly what happened. My husband Ronald has come up with a new business idea and wants to execute it as soon as possible, and he thinks that it will be successful. He does not have enough savings for the same, so he turned to me for funding of his business. I just refused and told him that I would not fund his business. We got into a pretty heavy argument that resulted in our family getting involved. It was so bad that I have not spoken to him properly for the last 2 days, and frankly, I do not care. Before all of you go and judge me, let me tell you a little backstory. So, me and Ronald, we've been married for almost 3 years now, and it happened shortly after we started dating. Initially, everything was good, but in all these years, my husband could not establish himself professionally. My parents had even warned me to be careful as he does not have a stable job, but since I loved him, I chose to believe him and patiently waited all these years for him to build something up. While we were getting married, he promised me that he would definitely come up with something and that he was doing his best, but clearly he was never visible. He would just talk, and the business would end before it even started. Every time he starts something like a brand or a business, it fails, and we have to bear all the consequences. Initially, it was fine, but then all of this turned into a pattern. The entire responsibility of the finances fell upon me, as I was the only one earning in our house. Well, there were times when we had to take huge amounts of loans so that Ronald could start something, but due to his lack of effort and laziness, everything failed. I never saw this man even move a finger of his to expand something he started. Whenever I used to confront him about all this, he would simply reject the idea of talking, and he used to come up with some lame excuse, such as the business is not on demand and all, and that's too much, yada yada yada. I've always funded everything that we did, and to date it remains my responsibility single-handedly, and I've never seen any shame on my husband's face. One time he took such a heavy amount of a loan, but he spent it all on useless things, and now I'm working overtime to repay it as my husband is clearly good for nothing. I have been so frustrated lately as he's just not ready to take any responsibility. In the current scenario, I'm the one taking care of everything. And it's been hard for me to save money as they're literally spent on maintaining our lifestyle. So the major drama happened when he asked me to invest in his new business idea. I simply rejected it, obviously, as I knew he was going to waste the money, which would put us in unwanted debt. Obviously, I told him that I was not going to fund him and that he could ask for the money from his parents. He literally became so aggressive and threw around things and called me unsupportive. Unsupportive for real? He never had the audacity to ask his parents for money, as he has always been dependent on me. Anyways, we had a really bad argument that night, and it made me angry. So angry that I decided to call our families to our home, as I was already so done with Ronald. A day before yesterday, everyone came over and we discussed everything. The only difference was that Ronald's parents were not there, but his elder sister Maddie was. So, as we were about to reach a conclusion of the conversation, Maddie simply got up and called me a selfish woman in front of everyone. It sounded so humiliating that everyone just went shocked and nobody spoke anything or took a stand for that matter. I stood up for myself and asked Maddie why she would say that to me, to which she replied that I've been good for her brother and I'm clearly not a good wife, as I'm not ready to support my husband's dream. I gave her all the reasons why I was not ready to invest, and we simply just rejected me by saying that it was my responsibility to, quote, obey my husband as I loved him, and that I should be supportive as if I have not done that before. My husband simply got up and claimed that his sister was right and that I was selfish. I wanted to slap both of them right there as I was getting furious. My sister-in-law literally looked down upon me as she always has, and she's always resented me from the day I started dating his brother, and has always been bad-mouthed of me. As you all know, I earn a lot more than Ronald, and this is the point where she's always conflicting with me. She's always told her brother that he should not have gotten married to me and all that. She didn't even show up at our marriage, but now I clearly know that she's a toxic woman with a sunk standard. However, it just wasn't that she abused me or something, because that's something expected. I went mad when she asked and basically ordered me to move out of my home. That is when I lost my absolute temper. She had the audacity to tell me that it would be better for me either to fund my husband's business or move out of his house. Now, this is what all of this has come to, huh? I didn't see anyone taking a stand for all of this. She simply announced that I move out for the good, or else she would throw me out herself and that I would have nowhere to go. In the midst of this, I saw Ronald completely nodding his dumb head to whatever she was saying, and not realizing that I was the one who even today funds him for his stupid ideas, and not his moronic family members. My parents tried to stop her, but she simply disrespected them and told them that they did not raise me with good values. She threatened me to leave or else she would file a complaint against me for trespassing. So, in order for that, she gave me an entire week to empty the house or she would get me arrested. I just stood there like an idiot, not knowing what to do next. I think it was Maddie's lifetime goal to get me out of this way, as she always disliked me. Anyways, now I just have a week to move out of my house. I have no idea where I'm going to go. Somewhere down the line, I always wanted to move out, but I never found the opportunity. But what do? I literally have nowhere to go. Nowhere. I seriously cannot believe what my life has come to. Ronald does not realize the fact that he would be nowhere without me, and that if I'm not there, he'll not be able to fund himself. Well, not even his living expenses. Then I'll see who's going to find him, and I'm pretty sure about the fact that Maddie is not going to come and rescue this good-for-nothing man. I'm completely numb, and I feel extremely stupid as to why I would end up choosing such a crappy family, who clearly have no regard at all. The thing that bugs me the most is that even after making so many efforts and sacrifices, I got nothing out of this marriage, and I'm the one who's going to get bashed from everyone? You all only tell me that why would you invest in something when you know that the outcome is not going to be good? No, right? Well, that's what I did. Well, that is it for today, guys. I'll have to stop here as I have nothing more, and I probably would not, as I will have to move out sooner or later, and I don't think it's for the best. But being a hopeful person, I do expect this online community to guide me through, as I could use some wisdom at the moment. Update number 1. Hey guys, I hope you're all keeping well. I honestly did not think that I would be back here to share something with you, but here I am after 15 days. Well, firstly, I would like to thank you all, especially the people who showed so much support, and because of that, I feel stronger than ever. Also, I'm really sorry about the fact that many of you went through something similar. It's unfair. And to all the people who were defending Ronald, put yourselves in my place and then think. Would you have spent thousands of dollars again and again, and that too, for something that just does not work out? No, right? So I would like you all to not be mean to me unnecessarily. Anyways, coming back for the update. A lot's happened, and I only remembered about the update last night when I went through all the comments and suggestions. So initially, when Maddie asked me to move out, I got really disturbed because I had nowhere to go. Well, let me tell you something that I'd forgotten about completely. So while we were dating before getting married, we finalized a house. The house that we are currently living in belongs to my grandfather, and when he died, it got passed on to my dad. From what I purchased the house. So we had bought the house legally, and of course I had to pay for it as Ronald did not have a job at the time, and I was only earning a hand. So on the legal paper, it says that the house belongs to me. Yeah, that is, it's in my name. Now, Ronald and Maddie have no idea about this since they were not present when the deal happened. However, I had decided that once my husband's business is settled and it starts flourishing, we could be joint owners, but now he's completely unworthy of it. So I decided to make a fool out of them and move to my parents. So then I could file a case against them for taking over my property too. Without my permission. But something happened that surprised me a great extent. Maddie, who's currently married to her husband Harry, is having an extramarital affair with one of her coworkers at work. How do I know this, you may ask? So basically, the company that I work for is in talks for a collaboration with Maddie's company, and I'm executing it. The man from the company that I got in touch with told me himself that he was dating his coworker, Maddie. I think he did not have an idea that I was related to Maddie anyhow. Now, why would someone tell me randomly about Maddie like that? That coworker is also my high school friend, and we have always been in touch. Initially, I anticipated that it could be wrong, but then I got to know that all of the office has seen Maddie hang out with him most of the time, as well as being in his cabin for hours. You know, they're really touchy towards each other and were once seen leaving the office holding hands. Dang! She was definitely having an affair, and I just had to collect strong enough proof. Funny how she's always been the one to disregard me for everything and even calls me a bad wife, a witch, and whatnot. And now she's cheating on her husband. Great move, Maddie. The worst part is that her husband believed her to be wise and worthy. So I decided to collect enough proof to ruin her image in front of her husband's eyes, and this is what she actually deserves, after what she had put me through. From the day I got to know, I started tracking Maddie with her coworker. Like literally wherever they went, I used to record her and everything. That's exactly what I've been doing for the past 14 days, and I've collected so much proof. Holding hands, kissing, going to each other's houses, even to Maddie's when her husband isn't around. Not gonna lie, I kinda felt bad for her hubby, as he's always been confident about his wife. This shows how much of a loser she is. I mean, come on. Guys, she had the audacity to ask me to get out of my own house, but could not come clear to her husband about cheating? Now that I've collected enough proof, I'm thinking of sending everything to her husband, as she had made my life a living hell. Now I want to make hers, and of course, how do I tell these idiots that the house where the stupid man is lying actually belongs to me? Please let me know what you would do. I'm not really able to comprehend all this. Updates number 2. Hey guys, it's me. I'm here for an update. Good evening, everyone. 3 days since my last post, and a lot's happened since then. I thought I would not find the time, but I did. As you have all been present here since my first post, I believe you deserve to know. First, let me tell you something. I'm actually very well bonded with Maddie's husband, and he is an old friend, and he and Maddie met through me when they were dating and everything. Even when Maddie had created all of the drama, he had reached out to me personally and checked up on me at one point. If the matter was not about him, I swear I would have never bothered about what Maddie does, as she is a piece of crap, but for the sake of her husband Josh, I think he deserves the truth, as he's always been there for Maddie every second of the way. I called him to meet, and at first he did ask me for what. So I sent him all the evidence of Maddie cheating, and I still remember him calling me on the spot and asking to meet and everything. We met, and I told him, I heard and saw the poor guy break down in front of me. It was heartbreaking to see him this way. Anyways, he gets furious, and in the middle of our conversation, Maddie called him 7 times, but he didn't answer even one. I told him everything that was happening and how my husband and Maddie were breaking me emotionally. Well, Josh, being a nice person, decided to help me with everything. But first, we had to expose Maddie in front of everyone. So Josh called everyone to his home, but everyone, I mean his parents and his in-laws. He sat them all down and told them that he had something to show them, and of course, Maddie was also there. He told them that he had recorded something very dangerous and he had to show it all to them. While everyone was curious, Josh projected all the intimate pictures of Maddie with her coworker. Maddie, being Maddie, went into a complete denial after looking at the pictures. She literally claimed that somebody was pranking Josh and that she, quote, loves him and would never ever cheat on him. I wish I could go ahead and punch her right in the face. I mean, she literally denied everything and is expecting Josh not to believe what is right in front of him. While she went absolutely hysterical, Josh slapped her in front of everyone and asked her to leave his place as soon as possible, as now he could not even bear the sight of her. Well, that day she just cried and screamed at literally everything. As for my house, I had all the papers ready and went straight to Ronald's house. No, wait, my house, and threw the papers at his face, which almost hurt his long nose. He shouted at me and simply asked me to go away, so I threw the bomb at him. I told him that the house that he's living in belongs only to me and not to him, as I paid for it, and he has no right to the property. As he opened the file, I could clearly see the shock on his face. He looked at me with extreme guilt as he realized that he would have to move out pretty soon or else he would end up in jail. Well, now everything is turned upside down for both Ronald and Maddie as they realize that they're officially stuck. Honestly, I would like to thank you all for staying here and supporting me throughout it all. It's because of all you that I was able to stay resilient through this course. Josh, who understood my plight so well. This will be my last post from my side, so see you later, alligator. Final updates. Hey, I'm sure you remember me, or even if you do not, please feel free to read my previous post. I attached it above. It's been 3 months since I came here, and honestly, I actually thought the previous post was going to be my last one. But here I am, once again, guys. Many of you wanted to know the aftermath of everything that happened, so please let me start. Also, thank you for sending in so many messages and checking up on me. It does mean a lot to me. So, guys, I actually filed for divorce from Ronald, and we're yet to go through the final proceedings. And trust me, I'm happier than ever to be out of such a toxic relationship and, of course, a crappy family. As you all know, and now me and Ronald, we've been living separately. He's been constantly trying to reach me, and I've not responded to his text at all. I clearly knew the initial text and calls were only so that I could graciously welcome him back to my home. But I was not going to surrender this time, as clearly with a man like that, I do not see a future. He deserves nothing. Anyways, it'll be fun to see who will fund him for his delusional business when we're officially divorced. Well, I don't think anyone will. As for my evil sister-in-law, Maddie, Josh kicked her out the other day. But since she was not ready to leave, he had to call the police, who put her in jail for a total of 3 days. Now she literally has nowhere to go. Guys, in between all this drama that took place, I also got to know that she's been fired from her job for building personal relations with her coworker. Yeah, LOL. This is what real karma is, girl. Josh clearly left her for the streets. When she realized that she had no roof over her head, she first went to her parents in hope that they would take her in, but they refused to do after they heard what she had done. She even created scenes in front of Josh's house, but nobody paid her attention as everybody got to know her real face. When she was left with absolutely no hope, she shows up at my place begging me to take her in. I mean, look at her. Does she really think that after all that she's done, I would just take her in? Just to play around, I put forward a condition in front of her, in which I asked her to be my private servant, but being bound by her ego, she simply refused. Even then, in such a vulnerable phase of hers, she asked me to take her in and said that it was my responsibility towards her as she is older to me, and that we are related. Like, for real? I would rather live alone for the rest of my life than take her in. I asked her to leave and closed the door at her face. The moment I did that, I felt a sense of victory as I was finally set free, and nobody will ever be able to control me, and I was totally feeling elated. I'm glad that I did not take Maddie in, as she deserves nothing just like her brother. One thing that I learned from this whole situation was that now I'm never going to believe anyone and put effort into them. Except myself, Ronald, and Maddie have made me suffer so much that now I'm too exhausted to deal with anything else in my life. Now it's time that I move on and start a new journey. By the way, Ronaldo is still texting me, and I have decided that I'm going to get his number blocked on my phone. Oh, man. Guys, that's it from my side. All I want to say is thank you for being so patient with me. It really means a lot.